The progress toward modular construction. Welcome to Building Knowledge 101. In this video, we will discuss the progress toward modular construction and explore the various methods such as conventional field construction, semi-unitized, unitized curtain wall, prefabricated wall systems, and volumetric modular construction. So let's talk about this progress toward modular construction, kind of look at the trends that we've seen over the past, moving to where we are today. So stick construction, 35, 40 years ago, every aluminum framing system, architectural aluminum framing system was all built stick construction. It was piece by piece, component by component going together. So that's the way traditionally it has been. That's the way it was 40, 50 years ago, just stick construction. When we saw growth in commercial windows, the model with commercial windows was different. Manufacturers wanted to pre-build their windows and pre-glaze them, and they were shipping them out as a pre-built glazed unit ready to go into a punched opening. So a lot of times commercial windows were going straight into a punched opening. So there was a rough opening there, and then the window set in, boom, it's closed up. So we saw windows starting to kind of model how we can pre-build and pre-assemble things. Then curtain wall. A lot of manufacturers with curtain wall started looking at, hey, commercial windows have a great idea with this modular approach. Why don't we try it with curtain walls? So you saw the onset of unitized curtain wall systems where modules were built, vertical modules that span from one floor to the other, pre-assembled and glazed and carried as a pre-assembled glazed module to the job site and stacked one by one. That was successful. So general contractors started looking at, okay, this concept of unitized construction has been great in glass and glazing. Can we combine other trades together? So the concept of modular construction started over the past few years, has been growing. We're seeing more of an interest in it, because modular construction is now taking the concept that was started with unitized curtain wall systems and combining other trades together, because you don't always want glass and glazing on a building. You might want to have precast, brick, other materials. So modular construction is bringing these other components of the building envelope together and building a module containing multiple components of the building envelope in one. From there, we saw if we can do it on the outside of the building, why can't we do the whole building that way? We saw volumetric modular construction, and that's what's growing right now. This concept of pre-building an entire section of the building, taking it out and stacking it one by one on top of each other and building a whole unit that way. So again, stick construction, this has been around for years. Everyone's familiar with it. A manufacturer would extrude aluminum extrusions, which would represent the framing system, ship it to a subcontractor. He would cut and prep it and typically assemble it with shear blocks. So I want you to see here, here's a tubular vertical member, and here's a shear block on the side of it. So a lot of times when you're building stick construction piece by piece, your verticals will have a shear block on the side of it. Once the vertical's set, here's a T-anchor, the vertical sits on top of it, shear blocks here, then the horizontals are open back and they roll over that. So again, the concept of putting it together piece by piece. Commercial windows, you can see a picture of the commercial window on the right there. The model of commercial windows was again pre-glazing, pre-assembling and shipping the complete unit to the job site. So manufacturers in architectural aluminum looked at that and the success of commercial windows, and they started thinking there's got to be ways that we can remove labor from the job site, control that. And that's where we saw this kind of semi-unitized or framing systems being built in modules and carried to the job site. So here you can see a window wall system, and these are modules that have been pre-built off-site and distributed around the floor. Here in the background, you can see a framing system already installed. You can see the verticals in place here, and these are the next modules to go adjacent to these. And if you notice, it's a two-piece vertical. So you've got one half of vertical here and the other half on that side. They're two different pieces when you look at the top and the bottom of that module, but those are designed to interlock with each other at the job site. So with this construction, you're pre-building modules, assembling the frame components using typically screw spline construction, and those are designed then to be interlocked together at the job site. So now you can see we're moving labor from the job site back to the shop. So a lot of labor to put these modules together is already embedded in it when the modules reach the job site, and that's been done in the shop where we got some of the benefits we talked about earlier, better quality control, better work environment, it's safer, and the modules are right there in front of you, so there's greater quality control and inspection time. Then moving to unitized curtain wall system. Here you can see modules being set, and notice that these not only have the frames been pre-built, but they're pre-glazed. There's spandrel in this area and vision glass in this area. That whole assembled module with glass is being set one by one and enclosing the building. You can see here kind of the way it works in sequence. One module stacks next to the one adjacent to it, sits on top of one below it, and engages to one beside it. So it's very sequential as they're working their way around this elevation. But that's unitized construction. And unitized construction then led to the concept of modular construction of whole wall sections, of prefabricated wall systems. So you can see it's not just glass and glazing now. You can see other trades involved in this module on the outside of the building. Here you can see precast with a window set into it. But then notice over here how many different components there are. So it's not just glass and glazing and precast. Look at this. There's panels, there's louvers, there's quite a bit of other components. So think about the various things that comprise the building envelope, the various components that make up the exterior wall of a building. All of those can be broken down into modules, and the modules pre-built off-site, carried one by one, and the building then contained and glazed and closed by stacking these modules one after the other onto the exterior of the building. Then the next step, volumetric modular construction. You can see in this picture how this building is being brought in pre-assembled in components, and those sections are then stacked on top of the foundation and interlocked with each other and sealed. Now, this is nothing new. Think about in residential housing. We've been doing modular construction in residential housing for years, very successfully. So residential kind of blazed the trail for modular construction. Now we're seeing it moving into commercial construction. So again, these modules pre-built off-site, then brought out here and set one by one on the foundation. Now think about all the labor that typically would have been applied in the field if this was being built, stick construction, but it's already been done in a controlled shop environment and brought as a unit out, and they're being stacked one by one on top of each other. That is all we have time for in this video. If you'd like to watch more of our 101 video series, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kawneer Company, Inc.